US. So I'm based in New Jersey.
Okay,
And,
sir.
you know, Orbit Institutes has we offer CPA, CFA,
Yes,
CMA.
sir.
And very recently, you know, we've tied up with the PAS, which Ira will explain to you in more details,
Okay, sir.
on the reciprocal exchange of Indian CA qualification
Yes, sir.
for the Canadian CPA qualification. So it's my pleasure to have Ira today with us, and he'll be
Yes,
addressing
sir.
the seminar. Thank you, Ira. You can take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris. My name is Ira Wellfish, and as Chris said, basically, I'm going to deliver the lecture. All right, so people, I'll just give you just 2 minutes about my background. So I'm a Canadian CPA, and I worked at Ernst & Young for 10 years, and after and then myself and my partner Michael Levi started a program in Canada called Professional Accounting Supplementary School, PASS. And what we have been doing for the last many years, I'm a little embarrassed to tell you how many years, but for a lot of years, we have been running a program to help people pass their Canadian CPA. And we started an international program a number of years ago, mainly when India signed the MOU, with Canada, which now allows people from India with an Indian CA to go directly to the final exam, in Canada. So basically, that's my background. We run the PwC program, the Pricewaterhouse program across Canada, and we teach in many firms. Basically, we have courses to the public to help people pass the exam. So what I want to do this morning is I want to go through and just give you a whole bunch of details with respect to the Canadian CPA and the program, and hopefully you'll walk away with just a much better understanding of how you can take advantage of this very favorable agreement between Canada and India. Okay, so Orbit Institutes is our partner in India, and there will be information at the end of contact information and things like that to be able to speak to Orbit Institutes. And obviously along the way, if you have questions or anything like that, or maybe I'll go through the presentation and then you can ask questions. This is going to be this is kind of the agenda. So I will go through and hopefully get through all of these six areas. Okay, this is the overall purpose, really just to give you a good understanding of the whole process. Okay, well, let's go. Now, Canadian students have to take a number of exams. I just want everyone to understand the difference between a Canadian student and right now an Indian CA. Canadian students have to take a number of exams. They have to take what's called modules and Capstone 1 and Capstone 2, and then they write the final exam. The final exam is called the CFE, okay, which stands for Common Final Exam. It's a 3-day exam. You can see the dates on the last bullet point on this slide. This year in 2020, it's in September 9 to 11. In 2021, there's going to be 2 exams in May, at the end of May, and in September. Usually in the past, there's only been 1 exam. In 1 year, they went to 2 exams, then they changed it back to 1 exam. It's always been in September. And now again, they're going to 2 exams. There was supposed to be 2 exams this year in 2020, but because of the whole pandemic, they canceled the May exam. But there's always been a September. So in 2021, again, they're saying they're going to 2 exams. So I believe, hopefully, there will be 2 exams at the end of May and in mid-September. People with a CA from India are exempt from the technical modules in Capstone 1 and 2. oops, sorry. They're exempt from, what just happened there? They're exempt from Capstone 1 and Capstone 2. They only have to write the CFE the last 3 days. Now, the CFE is 3 days long. The first day is actually based on the Capstone 1 case. It is a 4-hour day. And even though you don't attend Capstone 1, because most people from India do not attend Capstone 1, it actually is optional. You're exempt, but you could attend Capstone 1. We recommend that you don't. And we have a way to train you for day 1, even though it's based on Capstone 1 and you don't attend Capstone 1. So that day is 4 hours. Day 2 is what they call a comp, the roll comp. That is 5 hours. And day 3 are 3 cases between 70 and 90 minutes and 4 hours in total. They call the cases multis. The whole exam is case-based. It is very different than the exam in India that everybody here took. There is no multiple choice. It is case-based. It covers 6 areas. They call them competencies. So please look at the number 1 to number 6. The 2 biggest areas are financial reporting and management accounting. Those are the 2 biggest areas. And then there's audit, finance, tax, and strategy. You have to achieve competent, or what they call competent, in all 6 areas. And all 6 areas are kind of tested over the 3 days. I can explain in a little more detail afterwards exactly how the exam functions, but this hopefully is a nice overview. Oops. Okay, day 1, they mark separately than day 2 and day 3. What they do is they take the same company that they use in Capstone 1, and they say it's now 5 or 10 years later, and they give you a new scenario, 15, 20-page case, and you have to respond to that new scenario. But it's based on the same company that they did in the actual course of Capstone 1 that Canadian students are taking. You don't have to remember that much. And again, there is a pretty easy way for Indian students to be able to write day 1 and not attend Capstone 1. It's not technical, and they mark day 1 separately. It's a pass-fail. It has nothing to do with day 2 and day 3. So if you pass day 1 and fail day 2 and day 3, you only have to retake what you failed, or the opposite. If you failed day 1 and passed day 2 and day 3, then you would only have to retake day 1. In Canada, there are 3 chances to take for the final exam. So you can sit for 3 times for the exam in total. Day 2 is what they call the roll comp, 5 hours. And on day 2, it covers financial accounting and management accounting. You don't know before going in there. And then students choose a role. And the role is one of 4. It's one of the other 4 competencies: audit, tax, performance management, or finance. Performance management, by the way, is a combination of governance and management accounting. So you only get tested on the second day on the financial accounting and management accounting, whichever they test, plus the role that you choose. That is what happens on the second day. So the second day is not testing all 6 areas. It's really testing 2 or 3 of the areas. And that's 1 case for 5 hours. The third day are 3 cases between 70 and 90 minutes. And each case contains many competencies. That's why they're called multis. They contain about 4 to 5 competencies. No choice, everybody answers the same thing. And they mark day 2 and day 3 together. And as I said before, whenever, if you're unsuccessful on either day 1 or day 2 and day 3, you end up only taking what you were unsuccessful in again. The exam is written, by the way, on the computer using Word and Excel. The physical exam, it's a physical exam, like it's a hard copy exam. It's only written at the moment in Canada. So you would have to come to Canada for the 3 days to write the exam. And it's an open book exam, meaning they give you on the computer what we call the handbook in Canada. The handbook is really all the financial accounting rules. It's all the different sections and auditing. There's no open book. Okay, and they also give you the Tax Act. That is pretty useless. That does not really help anyone, but you do have access to the Income Tax Act. That doesn't really do anything. So the open book is really financial accounting and auditing. That's really what's open book. The rest of the competencies, there's no open book. You cannot bring in whatever you want to the exam. It's all on the computer, and they load the Tax Act and the handbook on the computer, and you write your answers using Word and Excel. Okay. Everybody in Canada, here's some basic facts of the exam. Everybody in Canada writes the same exam. It does not matter. We have provinces in Canada, similar to India, you have provinces. So everybody writes the same exam, regardless of which province you're in. It doesn't matter really, I'll talk about afterwards, who you register with. You just have to write the exam in the same location. For example, if I register with the Ontario CPA, I have to write the exam in Ontario. There is no other implication of that. It makes no difference. You can work wherever you want. You can live wherever you want. It's just simply you write the exam in the same province that you register. Okay, I think I've described everything else on this slide. Again, I'll take questions and comments and stuff at the end. I'll just kind of go through the whole system. Case writing is essential to this exam. The earlier that one writes cases, the better. Canadian students will study a year and a half before the exam. That is not unusual. I will talk more afterwards about timing. I'm not saying that students from India need a year and a half, and we'll talk about that afterwards, but I'm saying in Canada, that is not unusual for Canadian students to get through the whole process. After they finish university, a year and a half is normal. They work while they're studying. They are not taking off a year and a half from work. And the same thing with Indian students. Everybody can work while they are actually studying for this. That is very normal. Two biggest areas I've already mentioned are financial accounting. One little thing about financial accounting is that you may be familiar in India with IFRS. There are also accounting standards called ASPE. Those are for private companies in Canada. Some of them are identical to IFRS, but there's also many differences. So you would have to learn, obviously, both ASPE and IFRS. And again, the IFRS, a lot of you would know a bunch of the IFRS. And management accounting, as I said, those are the two biggest areas on the exam. Tax would obviously be very different. So you would have to learn Canadian tax. The level is very low. In other words, what I mean by that is you don't really have to be an expert in Canadian tax. It's not a high level. And we have many CAs from India who are passing. I'll mention the pass rates and stuff afterwards. We have many CAs from India who basically study for this and learn enough about Canadian tax in order to pass the exam. But you do have to, it's not a high level again, but you do have to have a basic understanding of Canadian tax. that is built into the marking scheme, which I'm not going to go over today. It's a little complicated, but it doesn't really matter at this stage of exactly the marking scheme. You just have to trust me when I say that you have to know a little bit about Canadian tax in order to pass. Most of the technical you can pick up from case writing. This again would be very different than what you do in India. So you write cases, and as you're writing cases, you are learning some of the technical for things like audit, finance, and governance. Okay. As I said before, we've been doing this for a lot of years. I guess we started, okay, 1989. And basically, Micheal, my partner, who is not here at the moment, he's actually teaching another session. He actually won the gold medal. He did very well. He won in Ontario the highest mark in Ontario when he wrote the exam. What we did a number of years ago is we put together a specific course for international students, most of which are from India, but we also have other students. We do have some students from Pakistan who have a similar agreement to India, where they can also go to the final exam. Those are the only two countries in the world that are allowed to do this. People from India and from Pakistan who can write the final exam directly. But we have also other international students from other countries, again, who may not be able to write the final exam. They have to write some of the pre-exams, the modules, but they could be an internationally trained student. The basic program consists of a combination of self-study, where you would watch videos and we would give you technical material in a physical binder that Orbit would send to you, and you would watch the videos. And we would also have formal instruction. By what formal instruction, I mean where you write cases, you email the cases in, we mark them, give you feedback, and we would have classes where we take up the cases, and we would have classes where we go through the technical material. By classes, we have live online sessions. We give many live online sessions like we're doing right now, where we would give sessions exactly what we're doing now, and you would see the PowerPoint and we would go over the technical. We also have some sessions called personal counseling, the last bullet point on the page. The personal counseling sessions would be sessions where the marker would be essentially going over the case with you, maybe using Zoom or WhatsApp, and they would spend half an hour and they would go over the case with you. So we have a number of those sessions as well. Okay, so let's see if I can annotate here. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I just want to see if, yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to see if I could annotate, but I have a feeling that that's not going to work, because if I try to annotate, let me see if I can still switch the slide. I have a feeling I will not be able to switch the slide. Okay, yeah, that's not working. Okay, all right, let me end. How do I end annotate? Okay, all right. The course consists of, as I just said, technical videos, sessions we have on financial accounting, and we have sessions on management accounting. And we don't basically what I'm showing you here is that we have certain technical sessions that are live, like I'm doing now, and we have other technical sessions that are not live that would just be on the video. The only difference, people, between video and live is that you cannot ask a question to the video. All we do is we record, like we're doing now, we record our live sessions, and then we upload the video to the website. And you have unlimited access to watch the videos as much as you want. And then if you have questions, you basically contact myself or my partner, Micheal, and we are constantly answering questions over the course of the year from students. So you ask us technical questions if you have a question on a video that you watched. Okay, I'm just letting people in the waiting room come in. Okay. The case writing, I've already mentioned, you write cases. Some of the cases we give you, because this really depends on when you join the program. I'll talk about timing in a few minutes, but some of the cases we give you are self-marked cases, so you would actually mark yourself. We always give you solutions to every case. Most of the cases we mark to give you feedback, but you write additional cases on your own to practice. We cannot give you every single case to write because we want you to write as many cases as possible. We also have sessions, this isn't really so important, but we also have sessions where we teach certain techniques. These are not really technical sessions. They're what we call technique sessions. So basically, they're just, at this stage, you really don't have to understand exactly what these are. You can kind of see the topics, but basically we're trying to give you guidance on how to do things better when you write the exam to increase your chances of passing. We call these technique sessions, and this is all part of the course. And the personal counseling sessions, I kind of explained, we have 3 of those where the marker himself or herself will go over the case with you. It doesn't matter if you're in India and they're in Canada, they would use WhatsApp or Zoom, okay? It makes no difference. Or Skype, doesn't matter. One thing about Capstone 1 and Capstone 2. Beginning January 1, 2019, students from India are exempt from Capstone 1 and Capstone 2. It is optional. You could take it if you want. We don't believe you should take it because we have built Capstone 1 and Capstone 2 into the program. So you don't have to go, but I'm just explaining it is optional. It's expensive, but I'll explain them in a minute, like in more detail, but it is optional. You could take them if you want to take them with your CA from India. So what is Capstone 1? So people, I'm just giving you the bare outline just so you understand this. Capstone 1, let's talk about Canadian students. Capstone 1, they give Canadian students a very big business case. So they give them a company, they give them a 30 or 40 page case about the company. And then they take the same company on the first day of the CFE. They say it's now 5 or 10 years later. And they give you on the exam itself a new case about the same company, and you have to respond. It's not really technical. It's more like you're giving a presentation to a board of directors within the 6 areas, within the 6 competencies on the exam. Canadian students, what they do is Canadian students, they put them into groups of 4 or 5 students. They work online. And for 7 weeks, what they're doing is they're responding to the case. They're submitting things, they send them back, they critique them, then they submit again. At the end of Capstone 1, Canadian students have to present in their group physically in Canada. They have to present in front of 3 people a very short presentation on the case. Group work and the presentation has nothing to do with the exam, nothing to do with it, but they want to make sure that Canadian students have the ability to work in a group, and they want to make sure Canadian students can present. That has nothing to do with the exam. Canadian students spend 10 to 15 hours a week over 7 weeks on Capstone 1. It is not the greatest use of time. Indian students do not have to spend anywhere near that amount of time on Capstone 1. Most of what Canadian students do in those 7 weeks is not necessary or relevant for the exam. The reason they do it is because they want Canadian students, as I just said, to be comfortable working in groups and being able to present. They assume that students from India have these skills. That's why they allow you to go to the final exam. And Capstone 1 is not that inexpensive. It costs $1,300 approximately Canadian. And you kind of have to be in Canada, not entirely, but if you wanted to take Capstone 1 from India, what you would have to do is you would have to come to Canada at the beginning of Capstone 1. You would have to be in Canada physically for 2 days. Then you could leave, go back to India, and you'd have to come back 7 weeks later for the presentation. So it would mean making 2 trips to Canada, beginning and at the end. During the 7 weeks, you could work in your group online. You could do that. But again, we recommend you don't do Capstone 1. I'm just explaining if you wanted to take it, that is how you would have to do it if you were in India. Capstone 2. What is Capstone 2? Capstone 2 is also begins with a 2-day workshop where you would have to be in Canada. Capstone 2 is basically practice exam writing. Every week, you write another exam, other cases. They mark them and they send them back. We effectively have built Capstone 2 into the whole program that we offer. Oh, by the way, I forgot one thing for Capstone 1. Capstone 1 is actually a pass-fail. You actually have to pass it if you take it. It's not hard. That is not a big deal. That is not really the reason I'm saying you should not take Capstone 1. To be honest, almost everybody passes Capstone 1. Maybe 1 or 2 groups every year out of all of Canada will fail Capstone 1. It is not a big deal. I'm just explaining you would have to pass Capstone 1 if you took it. If you don't take it, obviously you don't have to pass it. Capstone 2 is no pass-fail. Capstone 2 is simply practicing cases. We are going to do Capstone 2 effectively in the program. It's kind of identical what we do. You're going to basically write the same cases, and we are going to mark them instead of CPA Canada marking them. If you said, I don't want Capstone 2 with you, I'm going to explain in a second how that works. You could take Capstone 2 without taking Capstone 1 through CPA Canada. It would cost $1,300. It's going to be much more expensive than what we have built into the program. And you would have to come to Canada at least once at the beginning of Capstone 2 for the first 2 days. We give an alternative where you don't have to come to Canada. And basically it's the same thing and it's much cheaper. But I'm just explaining if you wanted to take Capstone 2, you could. Okay, so how do we address Capstone 1 and Capstone 2? Well, for Capstone 1, we do not provide an equivalent course. We don't think it's necessary and it would take too much time. You're lucky. You are lucky from India. It's a big win that you don't have to attend Capstone 1. So what we do instead is the 3 points you see here. We do prepare you. You don't have to get caught up in the details at the moment of Capstone 1, but we do prepare you for Capstone 1 for day 1, and this is kind of how we do it, even though you don't actually attend Capstone 1. Capstone 2, essentially that we do build into the program because Capstone 2 is not a waste of time. It is important to practice the cases, and all we do is we build in the practice cases into the program. So essentially we're kind of giving you the Capstone 2. Essentially it's the same thing as if you would be attending the real Capstone 2. Okay, I think I've explained most of what you see on this slide, that basically the course is really a combination of all of these things: a technical binder, videos, you're writing cases, you're handing them in, you're watching videos, we're teaching the technical. We have tried to make the course very flexible. By that I mean, in Canada, we actually have some in-class sessions. Of course, during COVID, we had to cancel the in-class sessions. We do everything live online. So even in Canada, you know, for people, we have always done everything live online. And we give you access to the videos, which you could watch at any point in time, and there is no limit on the videos. Basically, you have the videos for as long as you need them. Our goal is to help you pass. We're not going to take away any videos. And the truth is, if you would be in Canada and we were giving the in-class sessions, you could also do whatever you want. You could go to an in-class session. You could do the live online. You could do both. You don't really have to tell us which one you're doing. It doesn't matter. Basically, you always have access to all of the delivery methods that we do. You will always have access to that. Now, people, let's talk about schedules and kind of timing. When you write the exam in September, we have 2 versions of the course, version 1, version 2. The only difference is during version 1, you write some of the cases earlier on in the process. It's the same course. In version 2, you would write those same cases later in the process. So version 1, we would have you start the case writing earlier, let's say January, February, March, if you're writing the exam in September. And if you do version 2, you'd be writing later in the summer. We like it when people write the cases earlier. We think your chances are better of passing. So we recommend version 1. It's your choice. You could go into either version. Ultimately, it's the same course. The live online sessions, please look at the bottom of this slide. The live online sessions at the moment are given Canadian time in the evening. So people can work and then they can come home and they can watch the live online session. If there's enough interest, we have enough students, we don't need that many students, then we would also give live online sessions for people from India the way I'm doing now. We would run them in the morning, Canadian time, and then you guys would watch them in the evening. Once again, if you miss a live online session, it's not a big deal because we record them and then we upload them the next day. So the session I'm doing now, for example, we're recording this and I'd be uploading it to the website. And then the next day, you could just watch the session that you missed. If you missed the live online session, if you're not watching it now live. For people who write in May, we only have 1 version. It's just the way the timing works. We only have 1 version. I'm giving you links here. I'm giving you links into our website on the PASS website. In Canada, these are kind of like the schedule. You'd only write 1. We only have like 1 version. Like I said, people, there's not a big difference between the 2 versions, except in the September version, you write earlier some of the cases. Okay, so if you took in September 2021, the exam, you'd have a choice of these 2 versions. Now, important slide. When do you start studying? So people, look, if you're writing in May, January 1, look, this is not an official date. Okay, I am just giving you my whatchamacallit. I'm just giving you guidance here on when you start writing. But you need at least from January 1 to start studying for this exam if you're writing in May. Obviously, we prefer you start earlier. The earlier you start, the better your chances are because of the fact you have to learn the skill of case writing. We expect that you're working. This is not a full-time job studying. In some ways, that's probably different than what you did in India. We're saying 10, 15 hours a week. If you're writing in September, I have question marks because, again, people, it's kind of all over the map. No later than, I don't know, April 1st. Preferably, you start in the fall, early winter. You could start now in July for the following September, not September 2020, September 2021. That is not too early. Our program, just so you understand, our program for students writing in September will start in November. We'll start in the late fall. So if you started now, I keep you busy by giving you the technical resources and some practice cases, and you could actually start after you watch some introductory lectures. So we can always start you whenever you want to start. It is very flexible. Really, it's up to you. You're increasing your chances of passing by starting earlier. That's what it really boils down to. Okay. People, I have some testimonials. You guys can kind of read these testimonials, either just from prior students or whatever. So again, I'm not going to waste time reading these. I'd want to get to the questions, but you guys can kind of, again, read these testimonials. They're in the PowerPoint. I'm assuming that the PowerPoint presentation, again, you'll be able to look at it afterwards. These are just testimonials from prior students. And I think these are just from international students. So, people, the last part, how does it work, registering and stuff like that? So basically, when you register, we give you a physical binder, a physical technical binder, and we give you access to all the videos. And, oh, sorry, just a little aside here. The participants right now are showing, I think, under 50. When I'm letting all these people in, are they getting into the session? Okay, I keep admitting people, but I don't know the number that I'm showing. Anyway, okay, never mind. All right, so basically, once you register, we give you a technical binder, and you have access to all the videos. How do you start writing cases? Right away. So people, this is an important point. You could study your technical before you write cases, but you will not finish your technical. You will end up writing cases while you're studying your technical. It's a combined process. You will be learning some of the technical through the case writing. So if you want to study technical for 2, 3, 4 weeks before you first write your case, before you write your first case, that's fine. But I'm just explaining, you will not finish your technical before you write cases. That is not necessary. Nobody does. It's perfectly fine. And you can start writing cases once you watch the introductory sessions on how to write cases. You will not be doing particularly well when you start writing cases, but it doesn't matter. The practice is very important. People, the total fees for the program. The real fee, okay, this includes everything. This includes everything, is $2,795, and we give a 15% discount. So the real fee in Canadian dollars is $2,375. There is one additional fee. We would like you to purchase. You don't have to do this, but we strongly recommend you purchase the Capstone 2 material. You're not attending Capstone 2, but you purchase a material for $250 from any of the provinces. So the total amount is $2,625. And you basically pay by credit card. You can pay by installments. There is no interest attached. If you did not want to purchase the Capstone 2, we do have a lower price option. where essentially you don't do Capstone 2 through us, and therefore the option at the bottom of the slide is $16.95. To be honest, most of our students do not take that option, most of our Indian students, because they want us to mark the Capstone 2 cases. But if money is really an issue, and even with the installments, you cannot pay the fee, then you could go the lower fee and you get the same program except for the Capstone 2 marking. And that you could do on your own. So we have this available. Not very many people do it. To be honest, probably 90% plus do the $23.75. The total fees, just so you have an idea here, the total fees for the whole process, how much it would really cost. Our course, you can see, is a $2,625. Then there's other fees. There's a one-time registration fee. There's a one-time registration fee of $125. There's an annual student fee. It's a little cheaper if you register between July 1st and December 31. There's the exam fee of $1,500. These are all Canadian dollars. And then there's, I guess, the travel cost to Canada to write the exam. There are rumors they will ultimately have the exam being written in India, but at the moment they don't have that. You would have to come to Canada to write the final exam. Let's assume $1,500 in total travel fees. So you're looking at US dollars, I don't know, 5,000, 4,500. And the Canadian, based on the translation, something like 6,300 or whatever for the whole process. I'm just trying to give you an idea. I'm trying to give you an idea here of how much. Okay, I'm trying to give you an idea of how much the whole thing costs. This is, by the way, assuming you don't attend Capstone 1 and Capstone 2, which you don't have to. If you want to attend Capstone 1 and Capstone 2, you have to add another $2,600 Canadian. So it's quite expensive. The program we give is pretty extensive. This just gives you an idea of how extensive. It is by far the most extensive program in Canada because we developed really the only program in Canada for international students. We know what students from India need. So we give you more than we give Canadian students, by the way. Not that you really probably care about this, but just so everyone understands that the program we put together for Indian students is more comprehensive and much cheaper than what we give for Canadian students. If Canadian students took the equivalent of what we give for students from India, they'd be paying about, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000 instead of $23.75. We understand it's costly, but the problem is students from India really need this type of a program to really be successful. I'll talk about success rates in a minute. We work with Orbit in India in conjunction with Orbit to basically give the course. As I said before, you can start whenever you want to start. It doesn't matter. Earlier is better. It doesn't make a difference really to us, quite frankly, from a monetary standpoint, okay? Whether if you're on paying installments, whether you pay 1 or 2 or 3 months earlier. It makes a much bigger difference to yourself and your chances of passing. That's the real difference. It also does not matter that when you start our program, whether or not you're registered with the CPA in Canada. You do have to be careful about the deadlines. So for example, if you're writing in May you would register with CPA Ontario, CPA British Columbia, whichever province you're registering, sometime around anytime after July 1st. Anytime after July 1st, if you're writing in May, you would register sometime between July 1st and let's say November. I don't know the exact cutoff, but January 1 is too late. You could register with me for our course January 1, but not with the province. They would say it's too late. It's only 4 or 5 months before the exam. You have to register earlier. So if you're registering for May, you register sometime in the summer, anytime, or early fall. And if you're registering, and if you want to write the exam in September, you register in January. That's fine. February. But once you get into March, April, they're going to start saying, oh, it's getting too late. You cannot register. You have to go to the next sitting. Okay. All right. You can get a lot of information from going directly. You can get a lot of information from going directly to the site. Okay. Like from the CPA Canada, whatever. You can get information there as well. Okay. It's not hard. You can just Google. And you could, from any of the provinces. With respect to immigrating to Canada, people, obviously immigrating to Canada is easier if you have a Canadian CPA. The reality is it's not that hard to begin with to immigrate to Canada. You don't have to have your Canadian CPA. And yes, it's easier finding a job if you have your Canadian CPA when you come to Canada. But even so, we have many people, I can tell you, we have many Indian students in Canada that we are teaching now that don't have their Canadian CPA and they're living in Canada and they're working. So again, it's not something we really get involved in. We're not an employment agency. Our job is to get you to pass the exam. But obviously finding a job is easier if you have a respected Canadian CPA. It is a good degree in Canada. And that, along with your experience and your Indian CA, is a very good combination. Okay, I have useful links I'm giving you here. If you're coming to Canada, you guys can kind of use these links and look up stuff. These are also links if you want to, again, see more information from the, let's say, the Ontario. The two biggest provinces where most Indian students register with are Ontario and out west, where we have like Vancouver, British Columbia. So these are links to Ontario, and these are links out west to the Western School of Business. Okay, I've already explained the registration deadlines. Okay, this is just kind of explaining about when you would register if you're out west or if you're in Ontario. Out west, we know the exact deadlines. Okay, in Ontario, I don't know, they don't have an official deadline yet for May or September 2021, but it's basically what I told you before. This is contact information for Orbit in India. Their website, their phone number. They have a lot of information and can answer a lot of your questions. And this is our contact information in Canada. So people, that is basically the presentation. We try to give a lot of support along the way. Like I say, we're constantly dealing with students from India. We're always answering questions. We both do this full time. As I said at the beginning, neither of us have been working at I didn't give you Michael's background. Michael's background is the same as mine. The only difference is he worked at Deloitte and Touche. He worked at Deloitte for 9 years. I worked for Ernst & Young for 10 years. And basically since then we have been doing this full time preparing students. One final point. The pass rate in Canada for Canadian students is about 74%. We don't know the exact pass rate for students from India. It's probably a little lower. I don't know exactly what it is. They would never disclose it. I'm not even sure it exists for only Indian students. Last year was the first year we had students from India not going to Capstone 1 and 2 and writing the final exam. We were very happy. We probably got about 60% plus passing who attended the program from India. So we were quite happy with that. People, these pass rates are much higher than I know the pass rates in India, where they could be down at 5 or 10%. Okay, they are much higher. The reason the Indian pass rate's a little lower than Canadian is because I think of two factors. Number one, there is the English factor, which affects some people more than others, where you're writing the exam in English on the computer, and the case writing, which is a different skill that people from India do not really have, and we have to build it up. And that's why we put together such an extensive program. But the fact that we got through more than half the students from India writing for the first time, we were pretty happy, to be honest with you. We were pretty happy with that. The biggest reason why people don't get through, they simply don't spend enough time learning the case writing. That really is the biggest reason. Time is important. Writing the cases is important. This is not a good exam to take shortcuts. If we say you should write this many cases, you really should write that many cases. If you come back and write the exam and say to me, well, I only wrote half the cases, I got really busy in work and family and life, your chances are lower. That is part of the problem. We can only do so much. We give you all the resources and the material and the teaching, but I cannot go in and physically write the exam for you. So that is the biggest determinant. Okay, so people, that is basically the whole presentation. Let me take whatchamacallit. I don't have that much time left. I know it's already been close to an hour, but in the last maybe 10 minutes, let me take some questions that people would have. So I'm not sure how you want to do this, whoever is kind of running the session. If you want people to unmute their microphone, it might be easier, or through the chat box, whichever you like.
What I suggest is that maybe, you can speak and Ira can answer it. And you can also, send a message on the chat. I'll just like to speak for 1 minute. We are the pioneers of the US CPA in India. We brought Becker's CPA review to India back in 1997, and we have centers in 12 cities. We work with almost all the big firms, and now we are also associated with PAS and have brought the Canadian CPA qualification. The US CPAs have a reciprocal arrangement with the Canadian CPA. A lot of our students, who completed the CPA with us from India are already in Canada through this reciprocal program. I'm a Canadian citizen. I'm a US citizen. I have an OCI in India. I've got qualifications of all the 3 countries, and our association with PAS, we will help you clear it. One subtle difference between US CPA and Canadian CPAs, as Michael said that, Ira said that, with this CPA qualification of Canada, you come to Canada, you get extra points, which help you in getting immigration to Canada. So when you enter Canada, you enter as an immigrant, as a landed immigrant. With US, you have to go through the H1 process, and you have to get a job there and all that stuff. So this is how it works. So you register with the institute much before you start the course with us because of the timings, like maybe 9-10 months before the actual scheduling of the examination. And then you join the PAS course, and generally on an average, Ira, maybe you could confirm, it'll take anywhere between 7 to 12 months to prepare and write the exam. So now if you have any questions, you can ask.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
So that is like, if a student in India who has taken a lot of the time to pass the CA final exam, if he's thinking of coming to Canada after his graduation, is that possible for him to skip the first two exams, that Capstone 1 and 2? Okay,
I'm not trying to understand the question. Is it possible, you're saying, if you to come to Canada and take Capstone 1 and Capstone 2?
So no, what I mean to say is that like now I have to appear for the CA Foundation exam, which is to be held in November 2020. Suppose
Which,
it take, um,
sorry, which exam are you appearing for in November in India? Are you
so
talking now?
yes, that is a CA
Okay.
Foundation exam.
Okay.
So
What I think, Ira, basically he wants to ask is he's not yet a CA and he's
Okay.
saying, can he come to Canada and do Canadian CPA?
Okay. Much harder, much harder. So look at, if you do not have your Indian CA, then I would have to spend another 20 minutes explaining it's a much harder process, because then when you come to Canada, what would happen is you would submit your transcripts. You would submit all your courses to the Canadian CPA. They would treat you like a foreign student from anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where you have courses. They would tell you, okay, you now need to finish a few courses in addition to what you have. And you have to write all the exams, what the module exams I didn't even talk about that Indian CAs don't have to write. You would have to write those module exams in Canada. And then you would have to go to Capstone 1 and 2 and write the CFE.
Okay, sir.
So it is a much harder process, yes. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. We have students internationally coming. But then you would need a 1.5 to 2 years. We could help you pass those module exams. I didn't even talk about that because it's not relevant for you guys from India. But we teach courses to get people to pass the module exams in Canada. But the process is much longer, and it's other exams.
Okay,
So is it doable? Yes, it's doable, but no, it's much harder. The big win for students from India is that if you have your Indian CA, you can go directly to the final exam.
okay, sir.
In very simple terms, if you don't have your Indian CA, it can take you anywhere up to 4 years to clear
Okay,
all
sir.
the modules and the Capstone 1, Capstone 2, and the final exam.
Yeah, Krishan, to be honest, it might be a little less than, it might be a little less than 4 years. You're probably talking 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. And with your Indian CA, you can directly go to this final CFE exam.
Yeah, with your Indian CA, as I keep saying, the studying process, I don't know, 6 months to a year, 14 months, that's kind of up to you of how much time you want to put in. And as I keep saying, I gave you the times of, you know what I mean, like the latest that I personally would be comfortable with you starting the process. Much shorter.
Hello. I
Yeah.
have one question.
Yeah, sir. I had some couple
Can
of
I raise
questions.
it? Sharma, please.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have cleared my CA final 1 group. I have left with giving 1 exam, 1 group. It's taking a little longer time. So for a person like me, what would be the status when I go there to do CPA in Canada? Is there any kind of relief or exemption, or is it the same?
No. Based on the memorandum signed between the Indian Institute of Chartered Accountants and the Canadian CPA Institute, it is a reciprocal exchange of qualified
Okay.
people from both countries. So an Indian CA will get the benefit, not if you're
Okay.
a semi-CA, you've just cleared part 1 or part 2. So you need
Okay.
to be either a complete CA, otherwise whether you do after part 1, you still have to go through the whole process.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only benefit, let me just add one thing. People, the only benefit that you would get is that because you've taken a bunch of accounting courses, they will give you credit for some of those courses. And they will tell you, okay, you need a certain number of other courses, but you don't need as many as if you took no accounting courses. So you would get some benefit by not having to take as many courses before you even got to the exam stage if you took some of these courses in India, but you would still have to go through the basic process that a Canadian student would have to go through with the early, with the other module exams, Capstone 1, Capstone 2.
Okay, that is very helpful of you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah. Hi, Ira. I'm Amandeep. I had a couple of questions. In regards to immigration, you said that some points are added for your immigration process. So do you have any idea approximately how many points get added, sir?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The truth is, I'm not that familiar so much with immigration. I do not know. I know it helps the chances of people to Canada. As I said before, I don't think it's that hard to begin with, even without an Indian, even without a Canadian CPA. I don't think it's that difficult. We have so many people coming to Canada in the immigration process. You need to speak to somebody. I don't know if Orbit could direct you to an immigration consultant. They could tell you in 2 minutes how much that would increase your chances. I know it does increase your chances. I don't know the exact formula for how much it increases your chances. I just don't get the impression it's very hard.
I'll just add to that. We as Orbit Institutes, we have, we offer the US CPA examination, and a lot of our students who've done the CPA examination from India have got a reciprocal exchange of qualifications with the Canadian CPA course, and they've migrated to Canada. So Orbit is also involved in getting investor visas, EB5 visas to Canada, to US. We work very closely with the immigration process. So in very brief terms, you get an extra approximately 10 points. 10 points. We have a point system of immigration to Canada. So because of your CPA qualification, you get 10 points. And I know that anybody who's cleared the US CPA from India and then applied to Canada under the reciprocal exchange, my students, all of them have got immigration to Canada. And all of them are working. There's one person in British Columbia. There's so many people in Toronto. So, without being very accurate, but from experience, I think they get about 10 points for having the, CPA qualification. Yeah.
My question is to Krishan, sir.
Also, does the institute provide any job assistance services?
Sorry?
Any job assistance services
Yes,
for
yes.
Canada?
Yeah, we do a lot of job assistance services. We have, Orbit has been around since 1997, and we train almost over 1,000 students to write the US CPA and now the Canadian CPA, and they're placed in Canada. Some are in the US. We will help you and tell you and guide you as to where and what is the best place of getting jobs here, as well as in Canada, in US, wherever it's possible. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. I have one question.
Yes.
So that is, if I'm a BCom student, if I've done Bachelor of Commerce from India, then is it then there will be a different scenario for appearing in a US CPA exam?
The US CPA examination is a totally different ball game. To write this US CPA examination, you need to be a graduate with an accounting background. So if you're a BCom, you will qualify for the US CPA examination, and you can take that in India. For that, you can contact info@orbitinstitutes.com, and we'll give you full information on US CPA also.
If someone is a US CP, so what is the procedure for him to apply to the reciprocal for the Canadian CPA?
Okay. Once you're an Indian chartered accountant or a US CPA completed in India, both of you, because you're both qualified, one has a CPA qualification of US, the other one has an Indian CA qualification. Both of you qualify under the reciprocal exchange, and you directly go to the final CFE exam.
So the more or less this process is the same. The US CPA also.
It will be whether you're a US CPA or an Indian CA. The process of getting your Canadian CPA will be the same.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello.
Any more questions?
Yes.
Yeah, one question. This is Sajil from India, and I am a chartered accountant from India. So basically, I have to register for Canadian CPA, and I just want to know whether after registering for Canadian, should I take visa of Canada to go and appear for the exam?
I think you're cutting out. We're not sure we heard. I don't think I heard you.
Properly.
Hello. Am I
Can you
audible?
repeat your question? Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. So I'm basically chartered accountant from India, and I wanted to get registered with Canadian CPA. But I do not have any immigration process or anything with me right now to go and appear for the exam. So after getting registered with Canadian CPA, can I go to the embassy and ask for the visa to appear for the exam?
Yeah. Just like Americans, now CPA, US CPA is offered in India and in Dubai, but previously students used to, they were going to US to write the exam. Similarly, once you prepare the course, you will go to the Canadian embassy and get a visitor visa to go to Canada to write the CFE exam.
Okay. So if I'll go and apply for the visa and all that, should I mention that I'm going for to appear for the exam? That's why I wanted to
Yes, you
travel to
should.
Canada.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Okay, then it should be better. Well, easy way, easy access to get the visa, I think.
Yeah, I always tell, we've been in this, professional coaching for CPA and now CPA Canada and US, for the last like 20, 25 years. I'll just tell you that, with between PASS, IRA, Micheal, and Orbit, we will guide you with everything. The only decision you guys have to make is that, okay, I want to do it and I'd like to join the course. Regarding your, how do you get your visas? How do you apply for your visas? What are the uh, contents of the course? How do you join the course? How do you attend classes? All that help and all that assistance will be given to you. So you just have to make that mind and just study for the next 7, 8 months, follow the modules, follow the case studies, and be ready to write the examination. Everything else between PASS and Orbit, we will assist you with all your, formalities of, being able to go to Canada to write the examination.
Okay.
Sir,
Visa
Hello?
help is provided, sir?
Yes, sorry?
Even the visa help is provided?
We help you with applying for the visa, just like we help our US students who want to go and write the examination in the US. What is the procedure? What is the kind of documentation you need when you go to apply for a visa? All that stuff. And similarly, we'll do the same thing for you also for Canadian CPA. And as I mentioned, we are as a part of Orbit, we also are associated with immigration companies based in India, based in Canada, because a lot of our clients. I'll just very quickly, my name is Chris. I'm a CA, then CPA from here, then also qualified from Canada. We also are associated with the immigration companies. I have, two CPA practices, back office in Pune and one in New Jersey. Now we provide assistance and to a lot of people who want to migrate to Canada. I mean, this is one way of writing examination, but people who want to go under the invested category to the US, we are associated with immigration companies both in Canada and India, and we'll assist you with all that. So your decision is really to make up your mind. Yes, you want to do it, and you would like. Canada is a wonderful country. Wonderful country in terms of living and the facilities and all the government assistances and programs. It's a very beautiful country. So you can consider all these, and between PASS, me, and all the immigration parties we are connected with will help you achieve your dreams. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Any questions?
I have a question. I'm Ronald Savla from India. I'm a CA, Indian CA. So as you mentioned, you give job assistance once you clear Canadian CPA. Just want to understand what would be the job like starting salary, and what is the future for Canadian CPA over there?
Okay, you have to remember one thing, that in a particular country, the best qualification as a professional accountant is to have the local designation of that country. So if you're going to Canada and you have a Canadian CPA, you have prospects of employment in every sector of the economy. You can work in your own practice, you can work with CPA firms there, you can work in the private industry, manufacturing, you can work in the government sector. And with a topmost qualification like Canadian CPA, you will easily get jobs. Your starting salary will be anywhere around $80,000 to $100,000. Just like as I mentioned, we did US CPAs. US CPAs who've been training with us and who qualified over the last 20 years, everybody's employed. 30 to 40% of these people are working in India. They've got jobs. India has a back office of all these accounting processes, and they have employment there. There are many who have moved to Canada. Many have moved to US. So with your topmost qualification of Canada, you will have no issues getting a job in Canada.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Chris, I think I'm going to have to leave the session because I actually have another session I'm starting in a few minutes.
Thank you, Ira, so much. And you can be in touch with Ira Orbit for any detailed questions and even for your registration processes. Yeah. Thanks, Ira. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope everybody found the session useful. And as Chris says, just be in touch with Orbit or myself. You have the information here. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, Ira.
Have a good day.
We'll continue with any questions that you may have, for the next.
So he is the host. If he disconnects, then the call will be connected.
I think that host can be transferred to Shamili again back.
Okay,
Yeah, you should transfer the.
Sorry. Okay, so just give me a second to transfer. How do I do this? Just give me a second, guys. Okay, someone give me a hint. How do I transfer this back?
Ram, can you just help him?
Ram, you there?
Ira, you just have to right click on your name, next to your name, right click and then say transfer back to Orbit Institute.
Okay. Okay, just one sec. I don't see that really.
Probably there are three dots, so you
okay.
can probably click on that dots and figure out how to transfer.
Okay, I just did it. Do you have control now?
Ram, you meant.
Now Samir is the host.
Samir should have control. Okay, perfect.
No, I don't have control.
Samir, I just transferred control to you.
Okay.
Samir, can you transfer it to Orbit?
Let me figure out how to transfer it to Orbit. I'd rename start video, mute my video. No,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ira. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ira.
Transfer it to Orbit.
Priti, how to do it?
You have to go to the Orbit Institute and you'll get the option of transferring it.
Okay. Okay.
Ram, can you help?
Yeah.
It's done. It's done.
It's done.
Okay. So we will continue with any questions that you have. And we in Orbit, let me just quickly tell you about Orbit Institutes so that you know exactly what we do and who we are. Now, Orbit Institutes is based out of Pune, and it was in fact, we are the pioneers of bringing US CPA to India. And we brought US CPA to India back in 1997. We have centers, in 12 cities in India. We do training for all the big companies like Deloitte, KPMG, EY, Pricewaterhouse, American Express, Genpact, Accenture, and all this stuff. So we have 120 qualified US CPA teachers. And now, we have that. So for what does Orbit offer? Orbit offers US CPA, US CFA. We also have a diploma in IFRS. Now, Canadian CPA, we do a lot of corporate training programs in US taxation, auditing standards, SOX compliance, financial management, and now this Canadian CPA. I also have two CPA firms. One with a back office in Pune, and that's under the name of US India Tax. And then we have another CPA firm in US, which is called Sharma Markets and Associates. So orbit will, and as I mentioned to you, I got married in Canada. I qualified in Canada, qualified in India, then in US. So I'm a Canadian citizen. I'm a US citizen. I'm an OCI. We are associated with a lot of we associated with immigration companies in Canada, in India. So throughout the process, we'll help you, prepare for these exams and help you with the with migrating also, if and all that assistance is given to you. So if you have any questions now regarding Canadian CPA, we also what we will do is anybody who is interested can Shirmili, is that US CPA seminar uploaded on a video on a website?
No, not as yet.
Okay, you can you can write to us and we can send you that. We had a session on US CPA last week. We can send you that session and we'll also upload it on our orbitinstitutes.com website. So now, if you have any questions on Canadian CPA and if it's interacted with US CPA, we can help you both of them. So you can go ahead and ask.
Will US CPA feds in Canada?
Sorry?
If I'm a US CPA, then can I get easily job in Canada compared to if I'm a Canadian CPA?
Exactly. I mean, there are so many US CPAs who have got jobs in Canada because we have, we have presence of American companies throughout the world. 30% of world's GDP is US companies, and all the SP 500 companies are in every country of the world. Even in India, you got all the top, Google, you got Microsoft, everybody's in India. Similarly, all these companies are in Canada. So even with your US CPA, you can get jobs in Canada.
Okay, I'm currently registered with Orbit, and I have given my audit and FAR exam, so I'm left with the remit.
Okay. Yeah, once you're a US CPA, and if you want to migrate to Canada, we can help you. Suggest to you and put you in link with a lot of our students who are working in Canada, and you can, get first-hand knowledge of how they did it, and we'll also assist you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Any questions? I'd like to just say a couple
Hello?
of. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, myself Suraj Panja.
Yeah.
Actually, I have got registered with CPA Canada, CPA Ontario, and but I haven't appeared for CFE yet. I want to appear for in the May 2021. How can I start my process to study with the Orbit Institute?
Okay, all that you have to do is to just write to us that you want to enroll for the Canadian CPA examination. And then what we will do is we will send you a link to fill out a formal application form with PASS, with this, professional accounting supplementary school, which is IRA's company in Canada. And you will register with them through a link through Orbit. And then we will send you from Orbit, we will send you all the modules, all the videos, the binders, and then you connect with IRA and the PASS school in Canada and start studying. And in the background, you'll have Orbit for all your assistance.
I just want to know that how you teach, like teachers are in Canada or where?
No, all the teachers are qualified CPAs from Canada. They are in Toronto.
Okay. And is the weekend study available?
Sorry, what did you say?
Do you teach at weekends or in working days?
No. As I mentioned, no. They right now they are holding classes in the evening in Canada. So it could be very early morning, but all these classes are recorded. So you will get video lectures, you will get recorded lectures. You can also join the live classes. Say if it is like 7 p.m. in Canada, it will be like 4:30 or 5 o'clock early morning in India. So they're also thinking that later on they will also hold live classes, which are more conducive to Indian timing. But you can join live classes. I mean, except that it'll have to be a little early morning for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. My question is if someone has ACCA UK degree, whether it make any difference to gain CPA Canada as compared to Indian CA?
If you have an ACCA degree?
Actually, ACCA exam can be written in India, but in CPA Canada exam is only written in Canada. So my question is that if someone have his ACCA degree, whether it make any difference to gain a CPA Canada degree through some MRA or MOU?
If somebody has what I didn't get
So
the last.
Chris, the question is whether there is an MOU between ACCA UK and CPA Canada.
CPA Canada.
Which is like what we are having in India and US or India and.
I know. I'm not 100% sure about that. I know there's a memorandum of understanding between US CPA and Canadian CPA and Indian CA and Pakistan CA with CPA Canada, but I'm not too sure about ACCA.
We'll just find out. Give us a day or so. We'll find out and we'll let you know whether ACCA has a memorandum of understanding with Canadian CPA. So give us just tomorrow's day. You can send me an email. I'll find out and I'll let you know.
I'll send you an email. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, sir, I had a question. Can I register for with CPA Ontario while I'm in India itself?
Yeah, you can register. You see, what is the sequence of what is your timing? So just like Ira said, if I want to write the examination in May, the first thing I should do is I should register for the examination with the CPA Institute. Now, because we have the CPA, it is the same exam, but you have to register with chapters. Like you have a CPA chapter in Ontario, you have a CPA chapter in British Columbia. If you want to live in Toronto, you will register with CPA. If you want to live in Vancouver, you will register with CPA British Columbia. So this registration should be done 9 months before you plan to write the examination. If I'm writing it in May, sometimes, in July, previous year, I should register. And then you can join the course with PASS and Orbit and start studying. But the registration with the institute, whether it's British Columbia or Ontario, should happen at least 9 months before your scheduled examination date.
And the process takes 12 to 14 weeks. The registration process with the province, it takes about 12 to 14 weeks. So it's better to apply as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Does Orbit help in the process?
Orbit will help you with everything. We will help you with the applications, with the Ontario chapter or the British Columbia chapter.
Hello.
We will help you with all the formalities. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And we will also help you with immigration later on.
Okay.
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है तो आप यहाँ से ना एक्चुअली क्या होता है ये जाएगा वैसे तो एक्सपोर्ट तरीके से एक्सपोर्ट भी कर सकते हैं एक्सपोर्ट लाइसेंस देके और उसका ना कोई लोग हैं वहाँ पे जो बांग्लादेश में अपने पश्चिम बंगाल में बैठे हैं वो क्या करते हैं इसको ऐसे ही ले जाते हैं.
So any more questions anybody has?
अच्छा.
I mean, today is the first seminar. You got a fair understanding of what this whole process is. I just want to tell a couple of things, which are generic things, in general. Like what today when we talk of, enhancing your career or, increasing your opportunities, having professional qualifications is very, very important. And if you want to have a global opportunity, then, undertaking the Canadian CPA or the US CPA becomes very, very handy. Like so as a student, as an aspiring professional who wants to get global qualifications, uh, you just have to make up your mind that yes, I want to go ahead and do it. We've been coaching for US CPA and other courses for the last 23 years, and you have to be decisive in the sense that, okay, I want to do it. And if you want to do it, your biggest asset in your hand is your time. So the sooner you do it, the better it is, the more opportunities you'll have. So that is first thing, be decisive, take a decision. Yes, I want to do it. And then, I'll go ahead and do it. The second thing is, when the cost is very, very nominal. When we look at the opportunities that will be available to you after you complete your CPA, you get immigration to Canada, you get a very good handsome salary, you can work anywhere in the world. So all these opportunities will come to you, and the cost is very, very nominal in terms of getting this qualification. So just make up your mind, take the decision. Yes, I want to do it. And we have the success pass rate. Now, Ira, because I'm a Canadian professional also, and I lived in Canada for so many years and moved to US. The pass rate for this reciprocal examination is almost 90%. 90% of professionals from US or India or Pakistan who go and write the Canadian CPA qualification get the pass this exam. Okay, so it is not a difficult exam. It is not at all difficult, and it does not test you in depth on this content. It tests you on basic conceptual concepts, revenue recognition, just major concepts, and then it tests you a bit on your writing skills and case studies.
So I have a question.
So you don't need to worry about all this, and just have to make up your mind, and you will do it. With the 90% success rate, and your concentration over the next 7-8 months, you should be able to do it very easily.
Hello, sir. I have one question. May I please ask?
Yeah, please.
So my question is, now suppose if I apply for CPA for the province of Ontario, but I get PR of other than Ontario province. So, I mean, in this situation, how easily I can get degree of CPA of any other province?
There is once you're a CPA in Ontario, and you move, for example, you move from Toronto to Vancouver, you can transfer your CPA qualification to British Columbia.
Without any kind of examination.
Yeah, you don't have to write the exams again. It is one national exam. The Canadian CPA examination is a national exam, and you just have to be registered with a particular province where you live. But if you move to another province, all that you have to do is to transfer your qualification to that province without writing any exams.
Okay. This is very helpful of you. Thank you so much.
So we'd like, of course, this is our first introduction with each other, and you have all our contacts. You have Ira's contacts. All this will be posted on the website also. You can contact me. You can contact Sharmili. You can contact Ira, Orbit Institutes, anybody for any further questions and all. So, and if there are no more questions, can we wind up? Or if you have questions, we can continue. Okay. So I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today. Take this opportunity. I mean, rather than, debating, should I do it? Should I not do it? Take this opportunity, think over it very carefully. One thing I know is this: professional education or any education which is globally recognized never goes waste. I kept on, I kept on studying. I got my US CPA after wedding, after marriage, and I got it. I wrote my CPA examination US when I was in Toronto. And the only reason I wrote my CPA examination was the US CPA examination was because I thought tomorrow my kids might go to US and work there. That was the only basis. And this CPA examination opened up a lot of opportunities for me. I moved to US, I started Orbit in India, and then I've got 2 CPA firms. Similarly, for you, the Canadian CPA qualification will open doors to Canada for you. Not as a job. It will offer you opportunities as a permanent immigrant to Canada. You'll get extra points which will assist you in migrating to Canada, and then you have a very good qualification which will get you a good job in Canada also. So with those words, I'd like to thank all of you. Orbit Institutes, you can visit our website also, www.orbitinstitutes.com. We'll upload this seminar on our website, and you can look at it. And you can ask any questions to me, to Sharmili, or even to Ira. So thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.